At the moment we're in a very strange world in terms of business, e-commerce and retailing, whereby there's some massive businesses out there that we all know the names of that don't make very much money, and they have hundreds of stores in hundreds of locations, and they've got this little internet business and this e-commerce website, but they're out there and they're just not making money. They turn over billions of pounds and they employ thousands of people, but they're not making a lot of money. And it's a very strange world when we allow ourselves to think that this is acceptable, and it has been for years. And why is it acceptable? If I'm a brand new business and I've set up 2 e-commerce businesses of my own, I would never allow my team to set up a business that doesn't make money. Break even, make a little loss at the start, it's business, but longer term I'm not going to back a business that is ultimately losing money. And these bigger businesses have ultimately been losing money for years, and yet smaller businesses have come in and set up purely online an e-commerce website, an e-tail offering adapted to social media, and they turn over a tenth, a quarter of the big guys, but they make profit and they're employing people and they're adding value to the world. And so we need to start thinking about changing our philosophy and our thinking of what's acceptable in retail businesses. It's not acceptable to turn over billions of pounds and make a loss. That's a ridiculous concept. If you turn over that much money, make it profitable. And it's easy when you use online. Online e-commerce is where you can make more money. It's not simple in any way, shape or form. And the problem being that the big corporate businesses are so big, they are the Titanic. They literally, to change, is a program that they have to put in place, spend millions of pounds and take 5 to 10 years. Now as a smaller business with maybe 3 stores and an online business, you can significantly grow your business online through having the stores, using the staff you've got, and maximising the social media and the e-tail world that's out there, and really start to grow your business profitably and actually make money and start to add to the economy and add to the world. Any business now in the year 2014 across the world, if they think they are going to stay in business long term with just physical stores and nothing online, no e-commerce, no e-tailing business, they will not survive. There's some big companies have died in the last recession. The current last recession, we're near the end of it, but we're still in a recession, give or take. They did not adopt and adapt to the e-tailing world, and they need to. And anybody who's sat there in these big corporate businesses that thinks e-commerce is this small part of their business will absolutely 100% fail. And for me, that means that these smaller, newer businesses can absolutely take their market. And they are. In the UK, you look at Marks and Spencer, continually losing market share, continually losing what it used to have. And that's because their online business, many reasons, but one of their reasons, their online business was never driven. The top of the business, it's not going to work, we've got bricks, we've got lots of customers. Those customers are getting older and they're adopting into Facebook and they're starting to go online. The younger ones are coming through, they don't know you exist because you're not online. So you're losing from the top, where educated, older people are going online, searching, using Facebook, using social media. The younger ones, they're born online, they all have iPads and iPhones when they're born, so they don't even see M&S. And so somebody like M&S is stuck in this world where their new market's disappearing, their old market's disappearing, and their online offering is okay, but it's not something like ASOS and ASOS, which was born and bred purely as an e-commerce business, is now turning over billions of pounds, and it's only about 15 years old, and yet it is more successful now than M&S, and it is growing at a phenomenal rate, purely online. Slightly different market sectors, so they're not exact comparisons, but a lot of M&S's decline is the likes of ASOS, who are pure play, and then the other companies, the other retailers in the UK, who have adopted online. A great example is Next. Next, the physical stores and the catalogue. You know, loads of people still remember this big thick catalogue. We used to have to pay £3 for postage. And you get your catalogue and you go through it, and then you phone up someone, or you fill in a form and post it, which is very old fashioned. But they kept that philosophy and said, look, we sell via a catalogue, let's put that catalogue online. Let's make it into a website, an e-commerce business, and also let's make it mobile. And so Next went through a very bad patch like M&S, but they're coming out strongly because they're adopting the e-world and adopting everything that's happening in social media, digital marketing, and the whole sort of e-revolution has been taken in by their business and is being acted upon. And another example of companies that are, you know, well-established UK retailers that have really started to embrace the e-revolution and the new world that we're in is John Lewis, who, you know, like M&S, very old school, very sort of conservative thinking, to the point that only 8-9 years ago they didn't accept credit cards. But all of a sudden they changed their philosophy in terms of they realigned with their customer. So they didn't change their business. They sat there and said, our customers have changed. They want to use credit cards. They want to use the internet. They want to use mobile. And they then spent, you know, a few years, because it's a big company, changing their business to adapt to the e-revolution and allow people to collect at store, to click and collect. You know, so I can order something from John Lewis and collect it in my local Waitrose, which is a supermarket, part of the same group. So they got rid of the silo mentality in terms of a corporate business quite often has its own thinking and people don't talk to each other. They said, no, we all talk and we all use the internet. And so if a customer has decided on his mobile phone he wants to buy a chair from John Lewis, we will have that delivered to his local Waitrose and he can collect it at the front of the store at the collection point. We will make his customer journey so perfect he won't go to anyone else. He doesn't need to. It's about him. It's about the customer, whoever they are. And John Lewis is a classic example of whereby understanding the philosophies and the foundations of a retail business back in 1920, 1901 is still exactly the same as it is now. The e-revolution has not changed the principles and the philosophy of retailing. It has changed how it works. And John Lewis is an absolute classic example of how they've taken the fundamentals of good customer service, understanding your customer and doing what the customer needs, to the new world. And we can do everything with them online, on our mobiles and via social media. And great example of how good companies are adapting to the e-revolution. Starting days